congratulations to Webb Simpson, who, with his second win this season, has certainly qualified for the Century Tournament of Champions on Maui in 2021. So it's time now for Champion Chats presented by Century. And with the win, Simpson now ties Justin Thomas and Brendan Todd for the most wins on tour this season. It's the second time in his career he's had multiple wins in a season, the last coming in 2011. And it's the fourth time in 10 career tries he's converted a share of the 54-hole lead into a victory. So, Robert Dameron, starting with you, a really impressive performance from Webb. The leaderboard was absolutely stacked on Sunday. What's your biggest takeaway from his performance yesterday?
Well, my biggest takeaway, honestly, is that he has, even though this is an individual sport, I think he has the best team on the PGA Tour. He and Paul Tesori lean on each other so much. And I'm not one typically to say a caddy makes a big difference. I think that the FedEx Cup points list would look the same generally if everyone had a pull card or carried their own bags, but not in this case. Paul Tesori, and I'm going to be the first to give him all the credit in the world for this. You heard him talking the whole time. You heard at times, I think it was on Saturday, maybe Friday, where Paul says, "I'm not giving you this other club," when he was trying to go for the green on the 15th hole. So Paul sometimes has veto power even over the player. So really, really well done for both of those guys. And it's really cool to see them lean on each other, knowing how good of friends they are on top of player-caddy relationship.
I was going to say, yeah, there's something about that relationship that is enviable to, I know, a lot of players out there to be able to find such a great partnership. But for me, my takeaway was just Webb's ability to be aggressive. When you think of aggressive players, Webb Simpson's maybe not the first name that comes to mind, but it was amazing to watch yesterday's action. And Tyrrell Hatton, with the 54-hole lead, goes out and birdies the first 4 of 6 holes. And it feels like he's running in sand. He can't get ahead because everybody's shooting at the flags and able to make birdie. Webb Simpson, when it came down to it, coming down the stretch, was able to do more than everybody else. So again, not the first name maybe you'd think of when you think of aggressive play, but Webb Simpson proved it yesterday.
Yeah, Paige, and putting's not usually the first thing you think about with Webb Simpson, or at least that used to be the case, but it's not anymore. And we heard him talk about it in that sound where he was in 2015 and 2016. And my biggest takeaway is that his putter is now a weapon. He was 174th in strokes gained putting in 2015, the year before the ban. Then in 2016, 177th in strokes gained putting. He was second in strokes gained putting for the week by 394 feet, 8 inches of putts. It was absolutely rolling the rock purely, especially on that back nine. So what used to be a weakness, what used to be something he had to hide from and try to protect his game, is now fueling his game and a big part of the reason why he's a 2-time winner this season.
And he mentioned it in that interview with Lisa, but he does seem to have this newfound perspective for how tough it is to win out there. And because of that, he knows how to apply the pressure when he needs to. And what he did there on that last 9 yesterday was incredibly impressive, just to put the pedal to the metal and focus. But Webb Simpson isn't the kind of guy you think of when you think of the intimidation factor, Robert. So I come to you, when you see Webb Simpson's name on the leaderboard, do you think players sort of overlook him slightly? Is he underrated, and should he be more of a threat than he perhaps is perceived to be?
Yeah, not anymore. I think if anyone doubted his toughness down the stretch, he cured all that yesterday, birdie 5 of the last 7 to get this win, minus 22 around this golf course just was never on anyone's radar. I didn't think, it did play differently, but he's proven he can win on the toughest of courses and these type of courses where it's, I don't want to say pitch and putt, but it's a birdie fest really. And when he had to turn it on to be aggressive, he could. So the real trick to Webb Simpson that I think the really impressive part is, when you're 34 and you don't have all the firepower that you're seeing all these other players have, especially the young ones, and you're on the range and here comes a new young John Rahm or a Joaquin Neiman, and you're not looking at them saying, wow, these guys are really good. You're this 34-year-old guy that doesn't hit it that hard going, yeah, they can't beat me. That's an impressive quality to have for a golfer.
It also, Robert, seems like players respect players who have had their game, in the wilderness and have had to come back from that. I think Steve Stricker is a perfect example of that. He has a lot of respect in the locker room because he really came back from the driver yips, some struggles off the tee. I think you can say a similar thing about Webb Simpson. His peers know that he was lost on the putting greens, had to break his entire putting philosophy down and start fresh, start new, couldn't anchor anymore. And to see what he's come from, where he's come from to where he is now, 34 years of age, a major champion, a players champion, the leader in the FedEx Cup standings, that definitely has the attention of his peers, and he's earned that respect.
Without question, I think anybody that's played alongside him during some of the biggest moments of his career can see just how tough he is coming down the stretch. When you talk about his previous win, Waste Management, he birdied his last 2 holes to get into the playoff with Tony Finau and birdied the playoff hole. When he won the Players, he was walking away with it, 7-shot lead through 54 holes. So he's proven himself certainly to his peers. I do think he still is underrated. However, when you talk about Webb Simpson, when it comes to the general public, I think there is, a tendency to always want to root for the guys that hit the long ball off the tee, and Webb Simpson doesn't fit that category. He's much more strategic in how he approaches the game, but he knows how to make birdies, he knows how to be aggressive, and he certainly knows how to close.
Damon, you mentioned his resume there. Now a 7-time PGA Tour winner, a Players Champion, a Major Champion, a 3-time Ryder Cupper. He's in a prime position now to add certainly a few more majors to his career resume. Do you think we're potentially looking at a Hall of Fame career here?
I do, Anna. I think he has a lot of time to get it done and to get to that level. And you can make an argument that he's very, very close. Retief Goosen, for example, is in the World Golf Hall of Fame with 7 PGA Tour wins and 2 U.S. Opens. Webb Simpson has 7 PGA Tour wins, a U.S. Open, and a Players Championship at the age of 34. You mentioned the team events where he's represented the United States, and the look on his face, the look of comfort that he has, the confidence that he has, and the fact that, that he has the health, if it's on his side, he has a good decade or so to add to the resume that he's already built.
I think he's got time on his side in that way. He has been healthy, relatively healthy throughout his career. And I think, time is maybe the biggest determining factor moving forward. If he continues on this trajectory, then obviously I think he will be in a good position that sometime down the line he will make that Hall of Fame.
I mean, let's slow this down just a tiny bit. Yes, Retief has 2 majors. He's also got 14 European Tour wins. So this was a worldwide thing that it wasn't his PGA Tour accomplishments that got him into the Hall of Fame. It was the worldwide accomplishments for him. And you look at some of the players that aren't in. Lee Janzen, 8 wins, a Players, 2 U.S. Opens. Hal Sutton, 14 wins, a Players and a Major. Corey Pavin, 15 wins and a U.S. Open, and they're not in, probably not getting in. So we've got quite a ways to go. The thing that we kind of know, or think we know, 3 majors is the bar to kind of get in or not get in the Hall of Fame. So 2 more majors has to be on his horizon if he expects to get in or has the career to get in.
Do you think the upside is greater in front of him or behind him, though? I feel like Webb Simpson is trending to play the best golf of his career right now.
At 34, I normally would say I'd rather have his past than his future, but not right now. This guy's too tough. I think of a VJ or a Kenny Perry who had great careers in their 40s. He's only 34. Best is in front of him.
Well, it's looking very good, as you say. His 2nd win of the year. He is absolutely red hot this season. Webb Simpson clinching his 7th PGA Tour victory just yesterday.